Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and we're going to be doing an updated horse guide for the end of the game. So now that all the updates are out and everything's been tweaked here and there, we're going to be giving a top 5 for every category and then top 5 overall. So this will include horses that you can buy and horses that you can find for free. Because technically every single horse that you can buy, you can also kind of take it for free and make it your own just by stealing it and bringing it to a horse trader. But with all that being said, let's just dive on into it since we have quite a few horses to cover. And we're going to start off with speed. And it should go without saying that we're going to be using base stats, not talking about gear. Keep in mind that many of these stats have a certain point at which you can use gear to increase them all the way up to their max. We're not going to be looking at that today because it's essentially pointless. Basically, the way that the system in this game works is if you like a specific horse, the way it looks, you can use gear to make it pretty dang good. But if you start with any of the top tier horses, you're going to obviously have a much easier time maxing out all of the stats or most of them. So with that being said, number 5 for speed is Napoli, this horse that you can buy right here, buy or steal I should say, at the Kuttenberg horse trader. So you can see where we are in Kuttenberg. This horse has pretty solid stats across the board, as all of the ones we're going to be looking at today do, but for speed, which is what we're looking at here, we have a base of 56, and that of course means you can max that out with good gear because you can get anything 55 and up all the way to 60, but it has a base of 56, making it, without any additions, one of the fastest horses in the game. Secondary stats, of course, stamina of 194, capacity of 175, and courage of 10. So courage is quite low on this one, which is what, you know, ranks it relatively low in my overall horse ranking. But if you're looking for just speed, Napoli is the 5th fastest horse in the game. So that's number 5 for speed. And number 4 for speed, we have Windwerf, this horse that we can see right in front of us here. This one can be purchased or stolen from the stables in Grund, so that's where you'll find this one. So as far as stats on this one go, we have pretty solid again, just a little bit faster than the last one with a speed stat of 57 and secondary stats of 177 for stamina, 238 for capacity, and once again 10 for courage. So not a very brave horse, but again, fairly fast. So the name Windwerf, having wind in it, feels appropriate here. So that is the 4th fastest horse in the game. At number 3, we have Kuttenberg, this horse that you can see in front of us right here, which can be stolen or purchased from the Maleshov stables, or the stables outside of Maleshov. So as far as stats on this one go, we have a base speed stat of 59, putting it just below the top speed in the entire game for horses, so obviously a good stat there. This one has the added advantage of having 30 for courage, which is nice, but of course we get a lower stamina at 119 and lower capacity at 188. So overall, very fast horse, good for racing, significantly better in my opinion than the first two, because this one is faster and has better courage. And if you're worried about speed, then I would say stamina and capacity. Well, maybe not stamina because that's also important, but capacity is certainly a secondary option if you're looking specifically for a speed. So Kuttenberg takes the number 3 spot at 59 speed. At number 2, we have Kinchem, this one here that you can purchase or steal from the Kuttenberg stable. So we're once again back in Kuttenberg. And so for stats on this one, we have a speed stat of 60, so already maxed out at that. This one also has a fairly good stamina at 235, making it particularly good for racing. Capacity is substandard at 175, and courage is especially bad, down at 5. So this one has absolutely no bravery at all. You're going to need horse armor and blinders on this bad boy to get it so it doesn't buck you off at the nearest, you know, fly that bothers it. But with that being said, it is of course very fast, so it takes the number 2 spot for speed. And for number 1, we of course have Grund, this horse that can be found at the top of Sigismund's camp, so that's where you'll have to go if you want to find this one. It is actually quest related. There will be a quest where you're supposed to bring this horse back to its proper owner, and you can of course do that, and you can take it at any point after that. Basically, you're going to find yourself stealing this one and then bringing it to a horse merchant to, you know, legitimize it. As far as stats on this one, it's also very, very good. So base speed of 60 for this one. So the same as Kinchem, but significantly better courage. So instead of having 5 courage, we've got 15 courage here. Capacity is decently high at 363, and stamina of 194 isn't terrible. It's on par with quite a few other top tier horses in the game. So I put it as the top best race horse in the game for a couple reasons, one of which being, other than the price to legitimize it, you can get it for free, and of course the secondary stats are very, very solid. So Grund takes the number 1 spot for fastest or best horses by speed in the game. So that is speed. Let's move on to stamina. At number 5 for stamina, we have Artax, our never-ending story reference. This one can be either stolen or purchased from the horse trader outside of Maleshov, which is where we're currently located. Stats on this one, are fairly solid. Of course, stamina being the one that it shines for. This one has 227 stamina, capacity of 138, speed of 38, and courage of 28. So no terrible stats across the board, honestly. I mean, it's a little bit slow, but you know, put some good horseshoes on it and you'll get her up into the 40s. But with that being said, if you're looking for one that can run for a long time without quitting, Artax is a fairly solid option at 227 stamina. So that is the one that comes in at number 5. At number 4, we have one at the same stable, which is the horse trader outside of Maleshov. So this one is Crow, and you can either steal it or buy it here. Stats on Crow are again pretty solid. Stamina of 227, capacity of 175, speed of 49, so significantly faster, which is why I put it above that one, and a courage of 22. So this one is, again, one that can run for a very long time without quitting, and unlike Artax, actually has a little bit of speed under the hood. Plus, it's a black horse, which in my opinion is always better. But that is number 4. Let's move on to number 3. At number 3 for stamina, we have Mark, this horse that you can see in front of us here, which can be either stolen or purchased from the horse trader in Grund, which is where we're currently located. Stats on Mark are a stamina of 231, so just a little bit better than the last two, capacity of 450, which is one of the best in the game, speed of 41, which isn't too bad, and courage of 15, which isn't too bad, especially with the right equipment. So overall, Mark is a very, very solid horse. Just, you know, if you're talking about top 10 overall ranking, Mark always features on it for me. And, of course, if you're looking specifically for stamina, 231 is nothing to sneeze at. So that's number 3. Number 2 is going to be Herring with the red herring perk. And I don't have a visual for you on screen because I'm not in that region of the map. And I actually think they patched it so you cannot get it later. So the way to get this one is early in the game when Herring is offered to you by Otto von Berghoff in an early story mission. You definitely have to take it there. And then you have to ride 50 kilometers to unlock the red herring perk, which will then upgrade the stats on this one to 231 for stamina, 288 for capacity, 56 for speed, making it also one of the fastest horses in the game, and 14 for courage. So you do have to do that one. It's a reward in the For Whom the Bell Tolls mission, which is one of the main missions way early at the game. And like I said, then ride him 50 kilometers with no fast travel. Once you've done that, Herring has the second best stamina in the game. So that's number 2. Let's move on to number 1. And at number 1 for stamina, we have Kinshem, who can be either purchased or stolen from the groom in Kuttenberg, which is where we're currently located. So, second time this one's showing up on the list. This one, again, has a stamina stat of 235, making it the best stamina stat in the entire game for a horse. Capacity of 175, which isn't great, but a speed of 60, which is the best, and a courage of 5, which is one of the worst. So this one does have great stamina and great speed, not great capacity or courage, but still, it ranks at number 1 for stamina. So that's the top 5 by stamina. Let's move on to the top 5 by courage. So coming in at number 5 for courage, we have Volantif, which is this horse that we're looking at right now, which can either be purchased or stolen from the stables in Grund, which is where we're currently located. Stats on this one are fairly solid across the board. 219 for stamina, which is decent, capacity of 238, speed of 43, but most importantly, a courage of 24. So very, very solid. And of course, you're going to want to maximize courage if you're riding into battle or ambushes a lot, because any of these horses are not going to spook very easily. So if you find it very annoying to get bucked off your horse, the courage stat is fairly important. So Volantif takes the number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4, we once again have Artax on the list, this white horse, which can be purchased or stolen from the Maleshov stable. Stats on Artax, again, stamina of 227, capacity of 138, and speed of 38, but a courage of 28, making it just a little bit more brave than Volantif, and of course the 4th best overall in the entire game. So very solid choice for a couple of reasons now that it's shown up on 2 of our lists. So that's Artax at number 4. Another return one on this list at number 3, we have Kuttenberg, which can either be stolen or purchased from the stables in Maleshov. Didn't have to go far for this one. As far as stats on Kuttenberg, we have a courage stat of 30, so we've maxed it out. So from here on up, they're all going to be max courage. But here we also have a speed stat of 59, making it one of the fastest horses in the game, and a stamina of 119 and a capacity of 188, which neither one of those is great, but if you're looking for a fast horse that also has a lot of courage, Kuttenberg is very good for that. So is very fast and does not spook. So that's Kuttenberg at number 3. Let's move on to number 2. At number 2, we have one of my favorite horses in the game, Erdl. This one is a black horse with a braided tail that can be once again either stolen or purchased from the Maleshov stables. So that's where we're currently located. Stats on this one are very solid in a couple regards. We of course have a maxed out courage stat of 30. We also have a capacity of 463, which is one of the best in the game. A speed stat of 48, which is not bad at all and can be easily boosted into the 50s with the right equipment, and a stamina of 140, which is not very great, but is not as bad as it possibly could be. So Erdal is a great horse overall and takes the number 2 spot for courage because of those other stats, you know, pairing with its maxed out courage stat. So that's number 2. Let's move on to the all-around best one at number 1 for courage. And at number 1, we have another horse here at Maleshov, which just for, you know, posterity's sake, I'll show you once again on the map. It's the stables right outside Maleshov. This one is Schlamak, and it of course has a maxed out courage stat of 30, but it also has a stamina of 210, which is a decently high stamina, a capacity of 263, which isn't top tier, but is better than quite a few horses in the game, and a speed of 44, which again is not top tier, but is better than quite a few horses in the game. So overall, it balances out to, in my opinion, be the number 1 horse if you're trying to prioritize for bravery, because it's maxed out bravery, and of course the secondary stats are all good enough to get by without ever feeling the crunch. So that's the top 5 by courage. Let's move on to the last single category, the top 5 by carrying capacity. So we'll start off with an honorable mention here, and I'll give you a 6, and it's just going to be the Pebbles with good old Pebbles perk, because at 338 capacity, it would come in number 6, and I wanted to make sure Pebbles showed up on this on one of these lists. Otherwise, there'd be a ton of people freaking out in the comments that I didn't include Pebbles, because Pebbles isn't the best horse in the game. I don't know why people always insist that. I get it if you have an emotional connection to Pebbles from the first game, but based on the stats, there are a lot of horses in this game a lot better than Pebbles. But anyway, at number 6, we've got Pebbles with the good old Pebbles perk at 338 capacity. At number 5, we've got another one of my favorite horses, this black one here, the Pajek Lad, which can either be purchased or stolen from the Kuttenberg stables, which is where we are currently located. Stats on this one are a carrying capacity of 425, making it significantly better than Pebble, and we have a stamina of 194, speed of 55, and a courage of 23, so none of those stats are bad. Pajek Lad is another one that, in my opinion, is just one of the overall best horses in the game, because it's got some top tier stats, and the other ones aren't bad at all. So that's Pajek Lad at number 5. Let's move on to number 4. So at number 4, we've got another one that we've looked at previously on this list, and it is Mark, and this one can either be stolen or purchased from the horse stables in Grund, which is where we're located. Stats on this one are fairly solid, carrying capacity of 450, so just a step up above the Pajek Lad. This one has a stamina of 231, speed of 41, and a courage of 15. So overall stat balances on this one are pretty solid, and of course carrying capacity of 450 is top tier. So that's Mark at number 4. Let's move on to number 3. At number 3, we've got this one here, Meadow, who you can get for free. Once you've gotten to the Kuttenberg region of the game, you're going to be where my character's located, so between Bilini and Shiitake. And here in the woods, you'll find an enemy camp, and this horse will be sitting here, so you can just mount and steal and then bring it to a horse trader and buy it. As far as stats on this one, they are very, very good, especially considering, you know, you don't have to buy this horse, and it's easy to steal because its owners, quote-unquote, are a bunch of bandits that you can just kill. So this one also has a carrying capacity of 450, a stamina of 219, so it can do both of those very well. It can run for a nice long time and carry a lot. It also has a speed of 52, making it a very fast option, and a courage of 17, which isn't terrible and can be boosted up into the mid-20s with the right equipment. So Meadow is an excellent horse that I left out of my first ranking video, and a lot of people didn't like that. It is definitely a great option. All the way until late game, and so it takes the number 3 spot for carrying capacity. So let's move on to number 2. At number 2, we've got one of my favorite horses showing up once again, and it is Erdal. This one can be either purchased or stolen from the stables outside of Maleshov. Stats on Erdal are quite good. We have a carrying capacity of 463, so a bit higher than those 450s that we already looked at. Speed of 48, which isn't terrible. Courage of 30, which is top tier. And a stamina of 140, which is mid-range. Mid-range bordering on low, so stamina is the only weak point of this horse. But overall, really, really good carrying capacity, which makes it take number 2 for this one. And at number 1 for carrying capacity, we have the Phantom Horse, which you can see in front of us here. This one is one that will only appear here once you've done the associated quest, which is the Executioner's Pride quest, which was added with the Brushes with Death DLC and can be started down here just south of Kuttenberg. You'll find the Executioner's house here by the gallows, and you go into there and you'll have a mission where you have to forge a sword for him. One of the components you have to get is this horse's horseshoe, so that's why you find this. Once you do, you can take it, and you can then claim it as your own at a horse trader, and it will become yours. And even if you don't take it at that point, you can then come back to the spot and find it. I'm a little bit worried that he's wandering away now, but overall stats on the Phantom Horse, we have a carrying capacity of 413, which is not as high as some of the other ones we've looked at, but the other stats are very good, which is why I placed it nice and high. Plus, it's a new horse, so I wanted to be able to share it here. So stamina of 194, speed of 49, and courage of 24. You know, you could make an argument that maybe Erdal or Meadow is a better horse, but overall, I think the Phantom Horse carries its own extremely well. And of course, it is wearing gear, which, well, it disappeared. I was going to take the gear off and show you the stats without it, but not sure where that horse is now. But if you want to get your hands on it, it's best to do it during the Executioner's Pride. It also has a very unique appearance, and I know some people really like that. So that is number 1 for capacity. Now let's move on to our overall top 5 best horses in the game. So at number 5 for our overall horses, we have Grund, which, as I said when we were discussing speed, can be either stolen from this spot in Sigismund's camp or at the end of the mission where you're supposed to return its owner and then just claimed for yourself. Grund is an excellent horse, late game all the way through. It's obviously very fast, so this one is tied for the top speed in the game, and it also still has very decent stamina and carrying capacity and a fairly reasonable courage stat. That's why it takes the number 5 spot for my top 5 best overall. So at a speed of 60, courage of 15, capacity of 363, and stamina of 194, there is really no super weak point in Grund, and it's also very, very fast, which is very useful in this game. So that's why number 5 is Grund. Number 4 is going to be our free bandit horse, Meadow, which once again can be obtained from this bandit cap between Bilini, Shiitake, and Kuttenberg here in sort of a triangle. So right where my character is located, there will be bandits here that you have to kill, mind you. But once you do, you can steal Meadow and go claim it at a horse trader. And the stats are just really, really good stats across the board. A stamina of 219 is above average, significantly so. Carrying capacity of 450 puts it in the top 5 for carrying capacity. Speed of 52 is already quite good, but can be boosted into the mid-50s very easily. And a courage of 17 is not terrible. So Meadow is one of the best early horses you can certainly get because you don't need a bunch of money to buy it. And like I said, with really good capacity, solid stamina, and good speed, it's just overall a really, really good horse. So that's number 4, Meadow. And number 3 is Pizek Lad, the best buyable all-rounder. This one can either be purchased or stolen from the Kuttenberg stables, which is where we're currently standing. And stats on this one, as we've already looked at least once in this video, are very, very good. So a carrying capacity of 425 is one of the highest in the game. Speed of 55 is also one of the highest in the game. Courage of 23 is certainly nothing bad, and a stamina of 194 puts it above average. So it's just a very good all-around horse that can be purchased, and it looks really nice because it has a very solid black coat, which a lot of people really, really like. So the Pizek Lad takes the number 3 spot. And then for number 2 and number 1, you're going to have to follow my graphics because I don't have video footage of them right now. But at number 2 we have Pebbles with the good old Pebbles perk. So this one is our best loyal companion and late game all-rounder. So for stats on this one, we've got 210 for stamina, 338 for capacity, 55 for speed, and 12 for courage, with big boost versus her awful starting form. So if you get her right away, a lot of people's first instinct is to get rid of her because her stats are god-awful, but considering you can claim her for free with the right speech skills at the Samine stables in the first section of the map, and then keep her all the way through the end of the game with, you know, very little sacrifice, she's a very, very good option. Plus, of course, there's the emotional connection a lot of people have, considering that Pebbles was given to you in the first game for saving Hans Kapan. So overall, very solid horse. Stats are not bad at all. There are horses that have better stats in every single area, but Pebbles is overall still very good on average. So that's number 2. And of course, that's once you get the good old Pebbles perk, which you need to ride Pebbles for 35 kilometers, not including fast travel, to unlock. Once you've done that, she is a very good horse. So that's number 2. Number 1 is, of course, Herring with the red herring perk. So I've said this in my previous video, this one is the best all-around workhorse in the game. Once you've gotten the, red herring perk, which, much like Pebbles, means you need to ride this horse without fast traveling. But unlike Pebbles, this one's more. You have to ride Herring for 50 kilometers to unlock the perk. But with that being said, 231 for stamina, 288 for capacity, 56 for speed, and 14 for courage. So very fast, very decent stamina, pretty solid capacity, and a halfway decent courage on that. So again, this one is one that you will get linked to a story mission after you've completed For Whom the Bell Tolls. It will be a reward offered to you by Otto von Berghoff. You can either take it, and you used to be able to go back and get it at any point, but I think they patched that, so now if you don't take it, it will not be available if you go back to Trosky Castle later in the game. So it is overall the best horse in the game, in my opinion, just based on the average of all of its stats. Not my personal favorite because I don't like the coat on that one as much, but there is a mod that turns it black, so if you're looking for a black horse and you can mod, that is always an option. So that is the top 5 best horses in every single way in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, updated for the end of the game. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it useful, but that's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.